Bridgid Coulter, Bridgid Coulter Design. Today we are in the gorgeous Una Milan showroom, and we're at Legends 2019. I think one of the great things about Legends and LaCienega Design Quarter is that we get to come together and, not just have wine, which is the most fun part of it, but we get to see each other's work, each other's imagination, and collect and talk and mingle and just talk about what we're doing, because we're all working individually in our little cubbies, and now we come out and we see each other and kind of shine. So that's kind of what it means. Well, for me, I like to start every project with a concept, with this just unifying idea that everything will come from. So the process for a residential space that only the family's going to enjoy, or a space that everyone's going to walk by, is the same. I want to tell an authentic story. I want to have it be visually impactful. And whether the 4 people are seeing it, 1 person is seeing it, 12 people are seeing it, or 1,000 people are seeing it, for me, if I'm truly expressing something creative, then I'm happy. And we're just playing. And that's one of the fun things about designing a window, is you're aware that it's going to be viewed in a bigger space, or a bigger platform. But as long as it's true and you're expressing it and you go for it, don't hold back, then I feel like we've accomplished it. So it's multifaceted. I made it complicated. My goal was to really honor women of color in the decorative arts and the icons in the shadows. So I did research, and you really don't pinpoint a single woman of color in interior design that's been recorded and talked about her work, but we were doing the work. And so I found that intriguing. But then there's Zaha Hadid, the grand dame, who is a woman of color, who we lost recently, sadly. But her work is exquisite, and she does interiors and architecture. And I really wanted to explore, what is it between even the most indigenous culture all the way to her work? How do they relate? And so mine is sort of a conversation between the two, and I'm doing a primal, elemental interpretation. And it's inspired by Zaha Hadid did these Brit Awards in 2016 that are exquisite, and they are sculptural, and they're all about tribal feminine grouping and support. So mine is sort of that, which doesn't look at all Zaha Hadid, but it's absolutely inspired by her work and the depth of her work. One of the challenges for me is I respect the work of Zaha Hadid so much, and I couldn't replicate what she does in a 10 by 10 space, but I wanted to really be true to the essence of what her work did, and think about the history of it and the background and what informed her. So my space is kind of reflecting what informed her, how I would interpret that, how I've seen her work around the world and am always inspired and awed by everything she did, and how would I express that. So it is probably a little bit of a bridge, but it's not a replica. I took the organic form. So one of the initial things I wanted to do was put this elaborate, modern, sleek Zaha Hadid console and put these tribal elements around it and play with the difference between the two and kind of contrast them. And you can't get one. So there's the physical, not getting one. And then there's also how much space we have. So we're limited. It's challenging to go, I want to totally honor this person and take this piece and do that, or maybe we articulate it in a different method. So I sort of had to really refine the design. I did a lot of sketches for this window, which is so funny. But it's like the more you sketch, the more you get a sense of what it is. And it started to tell me the story of what I wanted to be. And I let it channel. Let's just channel and let's let it happen and let it be what it is. And we had even challenges like our space changed for various reasons. And it was like, okay, so this wide space I had is now this space. Deal with it. That's just, okay, universe is telling me, let's go. So and it made it better. it made it better. So all of the challenges got me to refine it, and still the feeling is in there, but it's not just straight up imagery, you know? I used artisans from around the country. My mirrors are from Jean Marcel, and he takes all of this waste from Katrina and builds and uses old doors, and he puts all the pieces together and paints them and creates this piece. So we have these mirrors from him that tell a story. So I loved that. Marlene B, who's a ceramicist. I have Galia Lynn, whose sculptures are amazing. Her sculptures are called Vessels of Divinity. So I was like, what? And she happened to have them, and because people are memoing their things. Gendarmerie, we have their tables from Pave and Fishman Wiseman chandelier. We have Galia Lynn. Did I say Galia Lynn? Yes, I did. Okay, so then we have Delia Hauser, who's an amazing visual artist who did all of these outdoor plants in textiles and beads that are exquisite. We have an Una Milan chandelier, a pendant. We have a pendant from Una Milan, and am I getting all my pieces? I think that's all the pieces. Oh, and then I have some accessories from BCD, and then Sela African Imports, a few pieces will sprinkle in.